Welcome to See Great Art on YouTube. I'm Chad Scott, and in our inaugural video here from the Cummer Museum of Art and Gardens in Jacksonville, Florida, my hometown art museum, I thought it would be appropriate to come to you in front of this beauty. This is Mildred Thompson's Magnetic Fields, and if you follow me on See Great Art on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course here on YouTube, you will see details of this painting in my avatar. This is my favorite painting here in the permanent collection. It was acquired by the museum from Gallery Lalong and Company in New York in 2019. That is the gallery that represents her estate. Mildred Thompson dying in her early 60s in 2003. She was a Jacksonville native, and this is a masterpiece by any definition. I love the heat. I love the passion. Look at that warmth, standing so close to it, almost come over here a little bit to cool down. Such warm colors, the reds, the oranges, the yellows, but then she cools it off with these slashes and dashes and patches of that icy aqua blue. Come up here and let's take a look at this canvas closely, and you will see how heavily worked it is. Painted over, scraped away, painted again, edged out, outlined. This is an abstract piece, obviously, but it was not painted quickly. This is not something that was painted in an afternoon. It was applied in layers and then dried, and more layers, and then dried again, and then worked and worked and worked over a series of weeks, perhaps even months. People think that abstract paintings are action paintings like this, and you would consider this abstract expressionist, even though this was painted in the early 1970s, almost 30 years after the initial abstract expressionist. It still has that feel of action, that feel of motion, but this was a carefully considered painting that the artist Mildred Thompson would have looked at time and again, made subtle changes time and again, made all kinds of compositional decisions time and again with her color and with her line. Mildred Thompson was a black woman artist born in the Jim Crow South right here in Jacksonville, Florida. You can imagine that that was not an easy atmosphere to grow up for any black person, let alone a woman, let alone an artist. So she went to Howard University for her schooling in Washington, D.C., and then spent much of her middle-aged years in Germany. She left the United States because of its racism and sexism and the lack of opportunities provided to black female painters, and found greater success overseas. She did come back to the States, lived in Atlanta, lived in Los Angeles for a brief period of time. Always did, though, consider Jacksonville home. And this painting, you can see how it radiates. This is almost an attempt at painting energy, in a sense. Again, magnetic fields. This was a motif she would return to time and again. She did a series of magnetic fields, but I love the waves. I love the radiation, the energy. This painting goes off into infinity. It extends far beyond the corners of this canvas, and the more you look at this painting, the more you find. Look at this little patch of green. I love that artistic decision. The purples, the pinks, the reds, the blues. I've spent probably an hour and a half over multiple visits here to the Cummer looking closely at this picture. It attracted me instantaneously, and every time I look, I see something new, and that is one of the great hallmarks of a masterpiece. Always being able to find something different, and find something different depending on your mood, depending on if the gallery is quiet like it is now, or if it's full of people, if it's light outside, if it's daylight outside. It's intricate, it's considered, it is a thoughtful, complex painting that never tires my eye. The yellows I love, the blue I love, everything about it works so well together. The whimsy of just these dashes out here. What was she thinking going there? You see again the circles, the radiation, so much energy, these V insignias. It is a painting to me that has everything. artist, Mildred Thompson, who should be much more well known and better recognized, but again, is a black female artist from the South. That's 3 strikes against her right away, not being a white male from New York. So this is a painting that if you ever come to Jacksonville, you have to see. If you're ever in New York, check out Gallery LeBon and Company, which holds her estate, and understand that there are great paintings like this all over the country in smaller museums like the Cummer by artists like Mildred Thompson, who you've never heard of, that are not nearly as famous as that guy over there. Those Andy Warhol lithographs of Mao. But that doesn't mean they're any less spectacular, any less of a masterpiece, or any less worthy of your appreciation.